Hello guys, it's Revolution. In this video we're going to be discussing who is the stronger God of Destruction out of Universe 7's God of Destruction, Beerus, in the Universe 11's God of Destruction, Ronald McDonald. I'm just kidding. Belmod, also known as Vermouth. Ever since Dragon Ball Super concluded in the events that took place during the Universal Survival Arc in the Tournament of Power, the debate has raged on about who is truly the stronger God of Destruction of the two. Now, we have two different continuities of Dragon Ball Super that portray events differently in both mediums. So we're going to look at both mediums to get a clear idea on how the franchise itself thinks of these two characters, to truly get an idea on who is the stronger God of Destruction. But before we begin, if you're not subscribed to Revolution and you love talking about Dragon Ball, discussing Dragon Ball, this is the channel for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it. Then you'll be notified whenever I release new content. Keep lending me your energy, keep smashing that like button, and most importantly of all, make sure your voice is heard down in the comments section. Let your opinions be known. Okay, so first off, we're going to look at the Dragon Ball Super manga, because that tends to give us more information regarding these gods. The anime is pretty vague on everything, but we will of course delve into the anime as well. Of course, the events in the Battle of Gods arc in Dragon Ball Super, we see Beerus face off against Super Saiyan God Goku. This is a Goku who is astronomically stronger than his Buu Saga Super Saiyan 3 self. Of course, Beerus was heavily suppressed during this battle. I may not have said enough heavilies there, but you get the picture. Beerus was merely impressed by Goku's ability to handle God Ki and the power of Super Saiyan God, which was why he let him survive. But ultimately, you could argue that Beerus wasn't even using 1% of his power. Of course, the reason I brought this up is because it quickly denies the notion that Beerus was using either 70% of his power against Super Saiyan God Goku, or even 10% of his power against Super Saiyan 2 Enraged Vegeta, or even the God scale that Toriyama put out for the Dragon Ball Z movies concerning Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F. Beerus simply lied to Goku about how much power he was using. Now, a lot of people like to accuse fictional characters, yes, fictional characters, of lying. Now, of course, in the narrative, characters can lie, but ultimately what a character is a utensil of the author to communicate his story to the audience. This shouldn't need to be said, but I'll say it anyway. Fictional characters aren't real. They simply spell the word of the author. If a character is meant to be lying within that narrative, it will later be told to you through the narrative that that character was lying or was wrong. If it isn't done so further down the line in the narrative, then you should take the word of that character at that time as being gospel, as the word of the author or writer. And maybe one day it does get contradicted way further down the line in the narrative, but until that moment, you should hold that as word of the author. There's nothing wrong with being wrong when new information comes out. That's not you being wrong, it's just simply that your opinion predates that new information. I'm sorry for the tangent, but it's a pet peeve of mine when simply your argument is just disregarded by another saying that the character was lying when there's no evidence of it. It's literally just arguing against the word of the author. In this particular case, Beerus let us know that, he was lying about the power he used. The narrative took steps to explain why what was stated earlier was wrong. Anyway, back on track. After this point, after Battle of Gods, Beerus is used as the measuring stick for Goku and Vegeta to aim and ascend to. He is literally the goalpost for Goku and Vegeta, and we'll get into that again a little bit later, but we don't get to see a comparison between Beerus and Goku and Vegeta right up until just after the Future Trunks arc, when Super Saiyan Blue completed, Vegeta takes on Beerus. At this point, not only have Goku and Vegeta gotten a lot stronger, they've also unlocked Super Saiyan Blue, which is Super Saiyan God turning Super Saiyan. And then in the Future Trunks arc, we saw Goku complete the Super Saiyan Blue transformation by mastering pulling all of his ki within the confines of his body, so he could go truly at full power at Super Saiyan Blue. This elevated his power enough so that before, when he was fighting Merge Zamasu as a Super Saiyan Blue, Zamasu was just finessing him as if he wasn't there. Whereas with completed Super Saiyan Blue, sure, it was after the Vegito Blue battle and Zamasu was somewhat damaged and his immortality was breaking down, but ultimately, completed Super Saiyan Blue Goku was able to stay on him. It was at least a lot more competitive. This all happened in chapter 26 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, but in chapter 27, just one chapter later, we got to see Vegeta complete Super Saiyan Blue and fight against Beerus, and Beerus revealed some very interesting insight to the power of the Gods of Destructions. Beerus acknowledged that Vegeta had grown in power pretty quickly and commended him on growing at such a rate, but still stated that at this level of growth, he is still millions of years away in power from Beerus. Now, of course, he may be exaggerating or something like that, but what that tells you is he's still quite far away. But the next part is that Beerus tells Vegeta he could be a God of Destruction candidate for another universe. Now, Beerus is basing this off Vegeta's new power level in completed Super Saiyan Blue. Like I said, this happens in chapter 27 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, and in the very same chapter, the chapter begins with Goku, where he gets shot and it grazes his arm, and Goku confesses that he's not been training enough. And in that same chapter, Whis states that Vegeta is no longer behind Goku. So Vegeta in this instance is at least as strong as completed Super Saiyan Blue Goku that fought against merged Zamasu. In chapter 26, it doesn't specifically state how much time has passed since the defeat of Zamasu, but ultimately we know Goku hasn't been training. Now, there's a very short turnover in the amount of time from this particular moment to the beginning of the Tournament of Power. After fighting Beerus, Whis drops Vegeta back off on Earth, and Goku then goes to Whis' planet, and of course then goes to Zeno's realm, and the events of the Tournament of Power begin to unfold in a very short space of time. There's very little time for Goku to get stronger during this time period. But what we find out is that Universe 11 God of Destruction has brought his God of Destruction candidate with him. Now, remember, chapter 27 stated that Vegeta, with completed Super Saiyan Blue, wasn't of the level to be a God of Destruction candidate for Universe 7, but he could be for another universe. Well, Universe 11 is a universe that has a God of Destruction, that has a God of Destruction candidate of the level of Toppo, and simply put, completed Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta are relevant in power to him. Now, unlike Beerus, Belmod has a mortal in his universe that even surpasses him, but the level to become a God of Destruction candidate, Toppo, fills that quota. This suggests to me that Beerus, in terms of power level, is way above Belmod, as completed Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta is not powerful enough to be considered a God of Destruction candidate in Universe 7. This is further emphasised in the God of Destruction Battle Royale, where Beerus is initially attacked by a good number of Gods of Destructions, yet oozes and finesses quite a few of them. He is eventually caught, however, but upon unleashing a full power attack, the likes of Belmod, amongst other Gods of Destructions, had to be blocked by a barrier technique by a barrier specialist, Seadra. Even Jin comments on how Seadra's barrier saved them from Beerus' attack. Of course, as this Battle Royale plays out, Beerus and Quintella are the last two standing. Belmod is feigning injury, but that doesn't speak volumes about his confidence in his own power. This suggests that Beerus and Quintella are the two strongest. Of course, there are other factors involved, but ultimately they are the last two standing. It's revealed that Quintella was the one who beat Beerus in an arm wrestle in the manga, but we'll get to that a little bit later, as we'll be covering that in the anime part of this video. Based on the God of Destruction candidate information we've discussed in this video, and based on the performance in the God of Destruction Battle Royale, this leads me to believe that Beerus is definitely stronger than Belmod in the manga. But it must be noted, some of these Gods of Destructions have hacks and abilities, and those particular abilities may serve as equalizers to a greater power. But we also should acknowledge that Beerus seems to have some sort of imperfect Ultra Instinct. It's not really been delved into yet. It was clear to see that it gave Beerus a speed amp. Of course, in episode 93, it was also revealed that there was a mortal that even a God of Destruction can't beat, and that was the one that beat Beerus in the arm wrestle. It isn't specifically named in that episode, but in episode 110, Whis confirms that the rumour is true, and of course he is referring to Jiren the Grey of Universe 11, and of course his God of Destruction is, of course, Belmod. So if the arm wrestle is to be taken seriously as a measure of power in the anime of Dragon Ball Super, then that should mean that Belmod is stronger than Beerus. Of course, Jiren was stated to have surpassed his God of Destruction during the Genki Dama struggle, and a lot of people believe that this suppressed Jiren during that Genki Dama struggle was what had surpassed Belmod, but that isn't the only line of thinking that has sprouted from this particular instance. Some people believe that they were referring to Jiren's potential power that had surpassed Belmod. By all means, guys, let me know what you think it was referring to down in the comment section. But if it was referring to a suppressed Jiren surpassing Belmod, then that would ultimately in turn mean that Super Saiyan 2 Kefla is stronger than Belmod, God of Destruction Toppo is stronger than Belmod, and Blue Evolution Vegeta are stronger than Belmod. And of course, taking that arm wrestling feat seriously, that would also mean they're stronger than Beerus. As we know from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, the director stated that both Goku and Vegeta weren't at the level of a God of Destruction yet, and that may even just mean the lowest God of Destruction, never mind Beerus. At the end of the Broly movie, Broly is compared to Beerus in power. Of course, Super Saiyan Broly absolutely wipes the floor with Goku and Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue, to the point where Goku stated without fusion there's nothing they can do. Even if Blue Kaioken and Blue Evolution were a part of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, they would have been irrelevant. Which yields two possibilities: that if Suppressed Jiren did surpass Belmod at that particular point during the Genki Dama struggle, that Belmod wasn't actually stronger than Beerus and the arm wrestle was meaningless. After all, in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, it was Quintella who beat Beerus, and Beerus stated that an arm wrestle means nothing in terms of battle power and combat ability. It's also worth noting that in real life, arm wrestling competitions, is not always the strongest who wins. Technique is equally important. Though I do believe it's a bit of a stretch to believe the Dragon Ball Super writers were thinking that in depth about arm wrestling. But the second possibility it yielded was that Suppressed Jiren hadn't surpassed Belmod at that point, but Whis was referring to Jiren's potential power that we got to see later on in the tournament. As we saw, Jiren powered up many different times throughout that tournament. After all, Whis did mention Jiren's potential power. Beyond that, there isn't really anything too definitive to compare Beerus and Belmod, so at best, the comparison between the two in the anime is pretty damn murky. There is a Jump article magazine that puts Beerus at Ultra Instinct level, and that's complete Ultra Instinct, and obviously we know that full power Jiren wasn't at complete Ultra Instinct Goku's level, which would of course mean Beerus is stronger than Belmod, but that is from the Jump magazine, so it depends on how much weight you think that particular article holds. So in both different mediums, the manga and the anime, I say in the manga Beerus is definitely stronger, but in the anime it's murky at best. In the anime it depends how much faith you put on an arm wrestle, which in the manga by Toyotaro as a concept to measure battle power is completely laughed off. And of course you have to factor in the fact that Beerus is comparable to Broly. Even Super Saiyan Broly was going toe to toe with a Super Saiyan Gogeta who was at least 50 times Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. Never mind the fact that Broly continued getting stronger with Super Saiyan full power and was able to eventually tank attacks from Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Beerus is comparable to that. Whilst the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie is a continuation of the anime, Toyotaro is not going to change anything from the script of the Broly movie because it is from the pen of Toriyama himself. And whilst Goku hasn't seen Beerus at full power in the anime, he definitely has in the manga, in the God of Destruction Battle Royale. But in conclusion, moving forward, of course the anime has concluded. We don't know if we're going to get a continuation in the anime. I suspect we will one day, but who knows when that will be. The manga is continuing with the Dragon Ball Super Moro arc, and hopefully we get a comparison between Goku's Ultra Instinct states and Beerus in the Moro arc in the manga. But what has become clear is Toriyama, even in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, is still using Beerus as the benchmark of power for Goku and Vegeta to attain, and that matter hasn't been settled yet, especially in the manga. Ever since the Battle of Gods arc, Beerus has been a moving goalpost, and every arc since then we've seen Goku and Vegeta attain a new level of power, yet that goalpost just gets moved further away. And I don't think that's come to a head yet, but I do believe it will soon. And I don't believe it will just be brazed over lightly like many people are suggesting it has already been done. But heed this warning: if in the manga Beerus is stated to be as strong if not stronger than Ultra Instinct in the Moro arc or beyond, then that would make him stronger than Jiren from the Tournament of Power. Of course, that's an if, but if that happens to be so, if there's a continuation of the anime, do not be surprised if they follow suit. Even if their original intention was for Belmod to be stronger than Beerus, it was never strongly advocated, so it's something that could easily be changed. Anyway guys, I think this is a really interesting discussion, so let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Your opinion matters, and I'm looking forward to reading what you've got to say on this matter. Keep smashing that like button and lending the Daishinkin your energy. Make sure you're subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.